slower. And I think 2 years is
Pap
too
Samba,
slow.
Pap Samba. How are you this afternoon?
I am wonderful, Father Mos.
Ramadan Mubarak, bro. Léegi man affaire yi.
Well, léegi mu jeex de. ñaata distance yi des fu mu nekk nii.
Ñoom Saloum la ñu ne fi mu ne dañuy or rek wàcc. Because we are either going to be praying, inshallah, on Sunday. I mean, Saturday we'll have 29 days. Then Korite is the Sunday. If we happen to obviously fast for 30 days, then it's going to be Monday. Waaye nag am na benn ku ñëwee Serigne Modou Ñang ak Baye Fall kool nañ ma ne ma mukk bul fi wax ba 30 days baal yëfi 30 days tegee ko boor okay nañ ko daaj 29 days rek and get it over with. Brother man,
30 days mom should not be too. Makati, they don't have a problem gis or we are mom. Oh, but you're not going to gis mom. I'm not in you know, what's that other group, the one that is rivaling
Majali.
Those people have never seen the moon. You know, let's just wait. But it's Supreme Islamic Council. As soon as they mention a date, you know, we are going the opposite date. You know.
Why not, bro? Senegal tamit bu ko dégga de. They do the same
Senegal,
thing. I can guarantee you that Majali and Senegalese tarixa yi nii, they are on the same line. Senegal, ñun bi ñoo or Saturday, I think ñoom Sunday lañ or, and I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
Now there are some other Senegalese new or Saturday, but the majority, and you know what's interesting? The same thing with Kaur. My sister, anytime I call, ñun dey julli wuñ. ñoom itamit de or ñun dey oruñ. I'm like, they tend to get their cues from Senegal. You'll be surprised. Xam nga gars yi rek tamit, depending on you listen to Tiwawun or you listen to Medina Baye. Su fekkee nag ne da nga am imam boo xam ne is kind of more of a Nyaseen. So without a doubt, that's where they get their cues from.
Ore yaay jame mu ne du digal ngeen xaar ma. Oh, that boy was so rude. It's not even funny. I'm serious.
No, I mean, anytime I listen to that boy, I just bust out laughing. Mu ne maa ngi xaar fii nag. Te xam nga ne boobu. Muridi la doon
the interior minister, if you don't want to go to my 5-star hotel, make us on anybody could be Julie Illich. No, yeah, was so rude. It's not even funny. And you know what's funny though? I was listening to Said Manager, and he said something that was so funny about this diaspora vote. The alliance, the candidates who voted against the existing, they're also saying the Jame who now lives in the diaspora.
They would not be able to vote. I think I saw that yesterday, a clip of it from the
But don't make them go and change their mind right now. They
are actually voting against their own interests because clearly Jame will not be able to vote. Yes.
Yep, I saw something today in the news, and these armed robbers that have been crossing the border or whatever, because this one I think they crossed from Senegal and came in. They went to Balangar, so, you know, Vicky. Give us a break, please. All quarters. Gambia is moving. You guys are sitting in US talking nonsense. Well, Jainar, no, we're not doing that. Balal ñu. Continue to talk nonsense.
Please, all quarters. Mr. Jan, I have an issue with that one.
Maybe Korge neka come. So let me take it out on you guys. Yeah, but I'm looking at I was looking at this thing about this armed robbery, and of course people took in their own hands and shot one of them. And I think the guy ended up dying.
Yeah.
and the other one was apprehended. And I saw another guy. I saw somebody shared it. I think it happened today, where people, scaled his fence, and he had to, chase them with a rifle. And those people, I think, some of them were arrested. And I think reading his writing, the guy is perceived to be from Guinea and all that stuff. But I think, Musa, this is really getting very, very scary.
It
And
is.
of course, it's not unique to Gambia alone, but the size of the country makes it a lot more scary than anywhere else, because it's such a small community. And the last thing that you want, where people are fearful for their lives, especially businesses, because somebody who happens to lay a hand on a rifle will just come into your store and just want to rob you, blind, or carry a machete and come to your house. It's a dangerous thing. And I think at some point, a lot of people will find a way to have guns and to protect themselves and their families, Musa.
Yeah. You know, clearly, these are the kind of things, like you said, very common in other countries, especially in the metropolis. I mean, whether you're talking about Senegal in our sub-region or Guinea-Conakry, and that is not to excuse, like you said, or even in the West here. When I wake up in the morning on the treadmill and watch the news, there is always, I mean, Muntanyaka is shooting, 2-3 shootings and killings. I mean, now, the fundamental question becomes, like you said, a country of 2.5 million, small size, then ampur setar suñ bopa and try to prioritize. This is a threat. You're talking, look at Balangar, for instance. This is a guy who lives in Senegal, decided, you know what? Again, in our sub-region, whether it's Senegal or Guinea, there is instability. I mean, people are desperate. The economic situation in the country, in the Gambia, and also within the sub-region. So they go for what I would call easy targets. A small village, I'm not for Ambitik. Let me just come into town, rob them, and then cross the border. So this is something that we need to talk about it. The government needs to take it very seriously. And we need to have a conversation. We have a tendency to make it a political issue. And whenever you do that, and I don't want to sound like, oh, there he goes again, holding briefs for the government. I ain't holding briefs for no one. I'm just saying, for such a threat, something has to be done. And without a doubt, the government is right there at their doorstep. Now, we've seen our police in action. Whenever there is a robbery, it doesn't take long for them to end up capturing the people that are involved. But they have to go lot further than that. And that comes with seeing this as a priority. Put your money where your mouth is. If you give them the resources, if you give them the dollars and cents, if you give them what it takes, that will be the beginning of dealing with the issue. Why shouldn't we make boy with the politicized affair? This is what we tell you. I mean, get rid of this government and the problem will go away. I doubt it. I think it's much deeper than that. We need to have a conversation. Balangar, of all places, but I'm glad they take it upon themselves. I mean, then you would know. Do you know what guy Balangari? They don't play.
No.
Accent Kalagi.
They're ragaluñ fetel. Know what is going on.
I remember this election in this was during the time of PPP. Guy duga ci sen troquet ak sen galaji nan duma ku man sa morom duma.
Was that the 63 elections in the world? Oh.
63 elections, guys.
No, but Musa, you see, what you said is very, very right. I think we have to prioritize, and I think the country's security is absolutely important, especially if you're a government that relies on tourism a lot. And the thing about this, Moy, whenever there is news of this, it affects the country, because the person who is trying to go to the Gambia as a tourist, Sibopam, and you do your research to see what is happening. And these are news in you will always be be front and center. So it affects the potential that the country has in being a tourist hub. And I think this is where I think government definitely needs to really look at how do we help the police. Because if one thing that has been demonstrated from Pneumonia, at least our police are able to investigate matters and, in fact, apprehend suspects swiftly. Now, what do we do to make sure they would get the necessary equipment and funding that is needed to be able to do their jobs, to be able to patrol? Because the problem that you have, Moy, if you call the police today to come to you, how quickly will you get them? Will they even have the cars to come to you to help you? And these were also, Musa, because the thing is, when the police are equipped to be able to come and solve a problem, you don't need mob justice. Because you know that swiftly the police will be there. But if they cannot rely on the police coming in time, this where everybody will come Sachi. And what happened to these guys in Balangar? I think they went at the wrong time, because they went there when you don't get sent fast. You know, these people have just got there fast. These father fathers are angry that they've not eaten the whole day, and now you wara yaha send korgi si bopam send dogoli. But the thing is, I think something really needs to give, something needs to happen to make sure that at least we're not talking about bringing back these endless checkpoints all over the place like Jammeh used to do, but we have to do a much better job in making sure that the police are fully equipped to be able to do what they are meant to do or what they are supposed to do, so that at least you'll be able to arrest this or minimize it. You cannot you know, settle kina na sacha bi jaw la sante koko sante jaw gain yi rek la ci dégg c'est sacha kat ay gay ay seka, that's all you hear, you know, from these people. But you know,
no, there is real, seriously, you know, you remember just before I went to Gambia, somebody broke into our house, you know, and basically, and every day, another friend of ours, few days ago, they broke into their house also in Bruford Heights. But look, this is the thing. When you have a country where there are a lot of people, they don't have any source of income, bro, they are going to get very desperate.
Hadisa, you just said cut fast like that. You know, like I'm Gambia. So these people,
I think Baro said that they went after him.
Listen,
the attack Baro,
but I never, but I don't worry about that. My people cut fast, back fast, cut hati.
Man, yaga na dega cut fast.
Cut fast, no you know where man go dega. Let's go and cut our fast.
I was cutting my fast. Small boy be the father mon banjo boy fatty.
Wow.
Young this muge new fee muge binda mune unemployment is 3%, and so boy fatty. Good ragal nak. I have sent you the link.
He is not going to come.
You come and tell me you're supporting Nengane. I said Gambia is on the move. You've been there for 3 weeks. Can you come? For the people, by the people. And
no, boy party is the guy, because boy party when they lost Kiang. So Mombu be
they take an asana demo na campaign beer masambere boy yo fabu. I'm just kidding. I think you went there. But Pastor, seriously, I mean, it's a serious business. And I mean, and the government should, without a doubt. And I think it also starts with making laws to address the problem. Like you said, we don't want to get into this vigilante, people taking the law into their own hands. You know how it is here in the US. Everybody is armed, especially these good old boys in the South. Rednecks, they don't play with that. Kochi muge ame kartusam. And you knock on the door, they'll open fire. And I don't think we want to get into a situation where people will start, I mean, japa sacha idile door and dilen rei. I mean, the moment you do that, you're basically creating anarchy. And like you said, and we're going to reinforce it, the IGP should be out there. I mean, Minister of Interior. I mean, the government should be very proactive, reassuring people. that we are going to do something about this. Because like you said, security is everything. And Pasamba, see, instability. I was thinking about it the other day. The foundation for socio-economic development, if you want to lift the standard of living of your people, the first thing that you need to do is to create stability. You look at all over the world, the countries that are unstable, the countries that are, whether you're talking about in Gaza or the West Bank, whether you're talking about what we witness here happening in Syria, whether you talk about what is happening in DRC, it would be almost impossible for these people to be able to build their country. So li nga njëkk a war a am mooy stability. And for that, government plays a major role. Every decision that you make will reinforce that stability. And why am I saying that? We all know where we were for the past 20-something years before we get rid of Jammeh. The country was seen to be unstable. There is coups and counter coups. And
thank you, Lagos.
In a situation like that, I'm not going to thank you, Lagos.
Oh, but what testify? You don't know, Alaji Martin. Coups and counter coups.
and Basama, in a situation like that, we all knew somebody like you, somebody like me, we all talk about how all of a sudden you're talking about $700 million coming from the diaspora. There is construction, business, economic activity all over the place. It is because there is a belief, nay, there is a semblance of democracy. Now the challenge is this government able to maintain that? And that starts with the democracy that we have. Every decision that you make. That is why diaspora voting is so important, because you're sending a message. Now look, we're in a situation where every citizen will be able to participate. You are reinforcing. You know what? At the end of the day, it's in our hands. That is reinforcing the democracy that we have built, and people will know that we have a stake in it. And that will take us to the next issue too, Pasamba. Conducting free and fair elections. Ultimately, it's in the hands of the people. But when you create a situation that people don't trust the system, whether you're talking about selecting an independent electoral commission chairperson, you want to make sure that every Gambian, Pasamba Jaw def IEC chairperson, he will be able to oversee a free and fair election. The moment we reinforce that democratic credentials of our country, to me, it will help the stability that our country needs. And then it would definitely help whatever policy prescriptions a government that can come up with. Why is it the Gambia past 20 time in the 22 years, at the Gambia of today, I can guarantee you is different. People are not ready to take these things standing down. And I'm not talking about go out there and create vigilante or violence. That's not what I'm talking about. Gambians, their consciousness is at a different level. People are not willing to, in fact, even the income distribution Pasamba, they cannot see a National Assembly member a Prado, you cannot afford 2 square meals. If you continue on that track, I can guarantee you it's going to lead to instability. So the government, they got their work cut out. You create a stability, then we will have a chance to build a country. You create policies and def mala. I mean, as long as I can get away with it, we have the majority in the National Assembly, we have the executive, we can do whatever we want to do. You are basically sowing the seeds of instability, and I don't think it's helpful to our country. Let me shut up. I'm rambling.
Well, most you're right. But before you see where you want to segue to, the importance of the stability. There was recently a report by Afrobarometer in which
Yes.
they talked about a survey that they did and how people, the trust that the people have in the judiciary is waning. Of course, the judiciary came back and tried to clarify the issue and said, no, they pushed back, which is healthy. But you see, Musa, the issue that we have, Moy, let me give you an example. About 4 years ago, my niece was killed in the Gambia violently. 4 years, better. I don't think I spoke to the mom recently. This case has been dragging at a snail pace. So we do not even know the end. It goes to trial day. So you have this thing that is going. So you go to the extent when you're the victim. You are thinking that, you know what, you will never get justice. And I was talking to somebody. I was talking to Kex about this because I wanted him to check something for me. And we were talking about it, some other case, somebody else who was killed. And the case had gone so quiet that the family had to reach out to somebody like Kex to see what progress are they making about the case. And, you in fact have to talk about your case for your case to go back on the dock. And Musa, when you have that, that does not help in the dispensation of justice. You have a serious backlog in our country. But you have these cases. Let's look, for example, let's say what happened in the Bob Keita case that happened recently, where you go to court and the magistrate is not sitting or the judge is not sitting because we have a conference somewhere that he has to attend, or could not come because there is no car to bring the person to work and other stuff. So you have potential victims and suspects whose lives hang on the balance, and they are waiting for a resolution, and the resolution rests on somebody who chooses to come to court when they want, or maybe they have that they have to go to, or a conference that they have to go to, and all this. And all these things become a problem, definitely. Because, like, when I see what is happening, especially with Maram's case,
that's your niece.
That's my niece.
Yeah, the one that,
Papa. And she was killed in the most violent way. And Musa, there was something even that happened in that case. I don't like talking about it that much because I don't want to sound like I'm trying to personalize it. It should be. Musa, we sat, and then the mom called me and said, Mandela Majahle, Luhel. The suspect who was in remand was released. And this suspect had the audacity to call the mom, pretty much bragging about being released.
Yeah.
This is somebody who is suspected of killing your daughter. Said the babe was splashed with blood everywhere. For that person to come out of detention and had the audacity to pick up the phone and call you and say, you know what, yeah, things like that. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem. And to even get answers about this, nobody could tell you how this person was released, or the Department Ministry of Justice will tell you, oh, no, how many want to have with negligent prison could not explain. So you have all these things going around, Musa, and this is why there is a lack of trust in the judicial system. Not that they do not trust that the judiciary may end up doing the right thing, but when the wheels of justice are too slow, the people who do not trust the process. So this is the sad thing about the whole situation. And we are talking about the judiciary. I went to their website, and when you go to their website, of course, this is where you are supposed to see information, because I'm always trying to look for the most recent copy of the Constitution of the Gambia, because there are so many copies floating around. And to my surprise, my copy is more current than the copy that they have on the judiciary's website, Sibopa. And it's supposed to be the body that's supposed to administer justice. Man, the copy of my constitution that I have, this copy that I own, is more current than the copy that they have on the website. And that's a problem. Because we are a country that do not take things seriously. I'm not going to blame the Chief Justice for this because he is not the website builder. Chances he does not even go to visit the website. And I tried to make sure that I was looking at the most current, and I've seen information that are very recent on the site, Siwapa. Now, if you are somebody who do not live in the Gambia and you want to check some of this information, of course, the judiciary would be one place that you run to and say, you know what, if there is one place that would have this information, it will be the judiciary. So meaning, if you're looking for anything about our laws in the Gambia and you want the most current, go to Law Hub Gambia. They have everything that is current. And I was talking about going to the judiciary to
find out
the most current, because I'm always trying to do this. The most current, but the copy that they have on their website,
right,
it's not the most current one. There have been so many amendments made to a lot of those provisions. But they have the old one. It's the laziness. People do not care. It's like you're just giving a job. You just go, nobody gives a damn about anything. And for us to correct what is happening in our country, we have to be able to correct the little things. Musa, unless we do that, we are going to have a problem. And I'm just going to let you chime in. Let me just call my job. They just called me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly what the pushback is coming from the judiciary, but I have to be really honest. If there is one institution that I think that I've always come here and said that looking at where we came from during the time of Jammeh, whereby the man can just call any judge and dictate basically how a particular case should come out. I still remember the Fatu Jaumane's case and quite a few cases. I mean, these were mercenary judges. Our judiciary was without a doubt not independent enough. So, and I've seen here talking about the judiciary, how independent the judiciary is, and my good friend Sol Baji would always push back. But they're not, this judiciary, they are no way independent. And looking at the reaction of the people, the way they feel, I'm not so exactly why. If there is one institution that I would have thought, the people would at least give it a thumbs up. But if people feel that the judiciary, their trust to the judiciary is really waning, that is not a very good sign. That is seriously not a very good sign, because I think the judiciary as an institution is an important pillar in our evolving democracy. The moment that goes away, law and order goes away, we are in trouble. And that would be very unfortunate. Now, this tells you that the Gambian people, bro, they are not satisfied the way things are. And it's just across the board. Whether you're talking about the executive, the way they feel about them, whether you're talking about the National Assembly, the way people feel about these institutions, they're basically saying they're not here fighting for us or protecting our interests. They're all in it for themselves. The same thing with the civil service. The ordinary citizen, whether you're talking about a police officer, immigration officer, whether you're talking about somebody who works at customs, whether you're talking about, across the board, the very corruption that we always talk about is us participating in it. Everybody is what's in it for me. Everybody across the board. I was looking at, I don't really follow these commissions that are going on in local government. And they were I think it was Sol Menga that actually forwarded it. And the CEO of Kerewan, bro, I cannot really believe what I was hearing.
Did you hear the Banjul ones?
I heard some of it, commentaries.
No, Musa, what is going on in that country is just sad. To see somebody tell you they were just collecting money, whatever this guy's job is, Momo or a register business or whatever, according to his testimony, he was depositing these monies into his own private account, Musa. And the audacity of people to just feel that they can just steal blindly from the people. And then you go to mosque, you're for over. Friday, they will not stay 1 minute longer in the office because they have to go to the mosque on Friday. Chances are very good. Cruise group, this thing. It's like we are a bunch of very dishonest.
We're very dishonest.
Everybody is, like you said, everybody is in it for himself. And
yes.
and Musa, and you wonder why our country continue to be backward. This is a country. Do you know the amount of money that gets in that country, Musa? This is a small country. I was just having a conversation today with somebody. I think if you look at how small Gambia is, this is a small country. We're talking about 2-point-something million.
2.5
the amount
million.
of money, the billions of dollars that have come into that country. Our people continue to wallow in abject poverty because of these wicked people. You get in office, first minute, the next minute, call again, you just eat, and then they tell you that let's open with prayers. Yalla this, yalla that. The Christian, preach imam preach. But the thing is, we are a very dishonest group of people. So go ahead and paint with like a broad brush.
Oh no, but it's the truth.
Everything that we've seen is utter dishonesty from our people. They have they have no care for the average Gambian. They just want to turn us into this thing because this is sad.
Oh, we see the experience at every turn when we travel to the Gambia. I am not one of those that would say naturally Gambians are basically very dishonest. I do believe that we are no different from even Americans or some of these people. The difference is the culture in the country, how we celebrate corruption. That's where the difference is. The lack of controls, the lack of commitment from the leadership. How do we fight this corruption that we all talk about? Everybody is paying lip service to it. Muy man, muy yo. When we go to Gambia and we are confronted with a situation, we find ourselves in a culture bo hamne. It's so worrying. They'll tell you, no, why it's, uncle, bilahi, danga waste the time. So call it ko ham, daj ko be na $2,000. This thing is not going to work. They'll tell you that point blank. Everybody accept. And I hate talking about these stories. Remember, I was telling you, trying to get a meter in the Gambia. No, seriously. And my nephew is telling me, no, uncle, bilahi, so if I can buga dem ni rek, fay affaire bi ni rek, we pay $8,000. It was 2 meters, one electric, one water, 16,000. Fill out the form. No, why not? I'm not doing that. In other words, I was basically saying, I don't want to participate in that process. My uncle, and other people were getting meters.
Yep.
You're coming from Kaur, Ngabuga Jala at the ferries. Munga fa neka suba bengon so mutu do Jala. And they will tell you point blank, if you don't pay, they used to have what they call express. Express, I think it was higher. First of all, not only do you pay express, why don't I pay double express? So that munala uncle excel egal.
So expressway.
Yeah, danga express bapare expressway. So if you're from the diaspora, you don't want to mess with the inconvenience because the system is so messed up. You don't want to you waste the time. You participate in you participate in the culture. That's where we are as a people. You want to get a passport? Same thing. If you don't make your moves, ding for Fanande.
And especially if you're from the diaspora,
Exactly.
Because,
It's like,
yeah, yo,
are you
Musa,
kidding me?
you're going to Gambia. Bon 4 weeks.
Yes.
You would have to take care of something before you leave. Let's say if you need a passport to be renewed. Now, if you're living here, you can get an emergency passport, but you cannot travel out of the Gambia with an emergency passport. Now you need that passport to come back to wherever you are. And now you are forced to a situation where now you have to choose between, am I going to stay in the United States here, lose my job, Naka in the Gambia, lose my job, and leave my family there for 6 months before I get my passport? Or do I just dash somebody to act or whatever, pull them? But you see, I'm going corruption the very degree, Musa. To tell somebody to bribe you, that is one thing. To take things that are paid, that are supposed to be paid into the coffers of the government. Instead of deposit in the account of the government, deposit a private account. That's just craziness.
That's not only dishonesty, but that tells you the kind of controls that they have in that institution. It's just like me or your finger lige Pasama as a general manager. At the end of the day, the sales would come in. You take those sales and deposit it in your personal account. I am telling you, it will not be 10 minutes. They will find out that there is something wrong.
Musa,
absolutely.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes I'll get message from, oh, you know what? We saw somebody rank themselves. Lola,
yes.
So you have to address that. And it could have been by mistake or so. Because of the controls that are, like I saw Kara wrote something, is the accountability aspect of it here versus in the Gambia.
Exactly.
But again, you see, to me, the biggest issue that I have, and this is where the corner when everybody tries to be seller. But the thing is, we are very pretentious. There was somebody who once said that to this thing. You Gambians are very pretentious. You go hang a mer. But we pretend to be this holier than thou. It does not even, the wickedness of it is just does not even add up. The whole thing do not just add up. And do you know how it affects Gambians? Sometimes to even have a project come to the country. Run around. I know a Gambian, Musa, is trying to do something in the Gambia. He's retired. He's a very well-known intellectual. And he's working on opening a library in the Gambia.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
I think I told you about this guy.
Yeah.
And he has gotten the people here in the United States, the Henry Louis Gates and all these things in his corner. And what he is trying to do, more to open a library that is so resourceful, it would be the research center in Africa. Where if you want to do any research, you know what, I will need to go to this library in the Gambia to be able to do that. Can you imagine how great that could be?
Yeah.
Musa, this man wants a land. He's not begging for one. He went and applied the right way. Of course, Duduku can. He met with everybody, including the president. He's been working on this since a little after Mubarak came to power. Betay. He's there waiting for him.
It hasn't materialized.
Yes. And this is something that will not only enhance the country's reputation, it would also create employment. It would also bring about development and all these things. But unless he goes and pays somebody money, he's not going to get this. And he's not doing it for personal wealth or anything.
I'm telling you, it's across the board. If you really want something done, and you know what is interesting, the small business people that are successful in that country, and Gambians living in the diaspora that are heading to Gambia, and for investment purposes, or for even going back home for whatever reason, or building apartments. That has become a very popular thing. Most Gambians, they think, you go to Gambia. I am involved in that. That the shortest way, because businesses so everybody is like, let me go there and build my 6-unit, 8-unit apartments, rent it out, and make my, that kind of a thing. But the moment you start those things, you will realize, if I go it the right way, if I want to do things officially, I am not going to das fikini. I can guarantee you, it's going to take a long time, and you will be very frustrated because it's not going to happen. So Nyinga Hamne, they know how the game is played. Those are the same small business people in the Gambia that are living large.
Of course.
I'm telling you, they are the ones that are very successful. That are the ones that have been celebrated. Those are the ones, Motafulengis. They are not going to come out and be critical of this government.
No.
Now, I'm not just picking on the government. It could be any government. During the time of the 2021 elections, businessmen were making conscious decisions. They were aligning with the United Democratic Party, thinking that it's going to be the next, the government. Mm-hmm. The moment it became, oops, it may not, you change colors. Yep. It's the culture that we have in that country. And unless and until, look, you talk about passport. In this country, we know how that goes. You just apply. You can go online and apply, or you go to the office and apply. I mean, you don't have any other choice. That's just how you do it.
And you don't even have to see them. You don't even have to see anybody.
Yes. So they have what they call express. Obviously, if you want to pay more money to get it in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, you can do that, and anybody can do that. But
recently I had to renew my green card here.
Yes.
I did not speak to a single individual. All I had to do, go online, put my information in, and that's it. So they will send me an email. We've made this on your thing. It's on product. So you just go online, check. This is the process. We are sending your card. This key. That's it. Period. And it's just finished. I did not speak to a single individual. I did not visit a single office. I did not have to. Even the payment that I did for the renewal, I did it online. That's it.
And you bet your bottom dollar that payment you made is going to found its way to a consolidated account. Covers the government and not an individual. But Pasamba, and complain all we want. It's really going to come down to that. How in the hell are we going to change that?
And Musa, I know we're supposed to go to talk about the IEC, which people have neglected. Mm-hmm. Why can't we just go to the the commercials now, so that we can just have a free flow to talk about the possible 3,000 Gambians that may be deported from this country, and the IEC chairmanship, which is an important thing, and then go from there.
And again, like Peter Gomez would say, I mean, these are our partners. They help us come here every Sunday. The Bimom, commercial Bimom, Kiweri Korbi, Dafmaneh.
Welcome to Kid Aisha Restaurant. We are located at 1460 Boston Road in the Bronx. We are open 7 days a week from 1 to 12 a.m. We serve Senegambian food and American soul food on Wednesdays and Senegambian food all 7 days. We do dining, we do takeout. We serve chebijin, chebiapa. We do mafe, we do plaza, we do ebe every other day. We have yasaganat with rice, super kanja with white rice and fufu. We serve a lot of delicious foods. For dinner, we do dibi, chicken dibi, penta, whole chicken. We have shawarma, lots of good food. Also offer catering services for weddings, baby showers, birthday parties, whatever you need, we got it here at Kid Aisha. You can call us at 718-450-8606. And we're also on Uber Eats. And if you've ever been to Kid Aisha, make sure you leave a review. Thank you guys for supporting, and we hope to see some new faces.
Thank you, Kid Aisha. They do good work. If you happen to live in the Bronx, hey, you know who to call. Call them. They will all get it ready for you to pick up. Balandobugi.
New World International in its work to educate and sensitize overburdened communities regarding environmental justice. The meaning environmental justice is the idea that everyone should have equal protection from environmental risks and harms and equitable access to a healthy environment. NWI believes people should be meaningfully involved in decisions that affect the environment and human health. Here are some things you can do to help protect the environment. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Volunteer for cleanups. Conserve water. Shop wisely. Use long-lasting light bulbs. Plant a tree. New World International, in collaboration with the Washington State Department of Ecology, will help provide training and equipment to help document and end environmental abuses. If you have any questions, contact New World at www.newworldinternational.org.
Hi everyone! I'm Alima from the Gambia, a small but amazing country in Africa. We have such a cool history here, with ancient empires and explorers from faraway places. And guess what? My new daycare is opening soon to teach you all about it and more. It's called the Afro-British Self-Paced Learning and Child Development Centre. It's going to be an amazing place where we can explore, discover and grow at our own pace. Keep an eye out for more news about ABS. It's coming soon and it's going to be awesome.
So Pasamba, how is she doing? How is that coming up?
She is doing great. Definitely. It's, slowly but slowly getting there. Ute man. Man, I'll never venture into business. It doesn't matter what but she's doing.
No, you can make activity.
Money.
Welcome to the Gambia, a country with a rich tradition in tourism and a beacon for investors. Experience a nation committed to progress, a home where nature's beauty is matched by the warmth of its people. A nation that is fast-growing and developing, thriving for togetherness. At the heart of this development is the Global Properties, the Gambia's premier real estate developer, introducing you to our latest property being developed, the Lakeview, an epitome of luxury and comfort. Whether you are looking for a residence or investment property, Lakeview is the ultimate option. The Gambia is not just a place to live, it's a place to thrive. Welcome home.
Pasamba, xam naa ne amuloo mbubi julli te next Sunday la julli. So all you guys that are watching, call this number. Sola kaftan.
I have never done any music day.
Bu rafet. Amul music di.
No, but Busa, what do you do? Isn't the writings that you have, you cover the Nakalatura, the information.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take them down. Take that down. Genel boy Fatifi. No, they are nice though. Wow.
Very nice. So call this number 404-735-2999. Make a package ni send lako. I mean, you gotta look good, especially when you have kids. I'm going to do
and I can guarantee
you
can
get to be part of this whole korite thing.
You'll have a very wonderful experience and the most elegant Nakalatur outfit, Masi Falanja ginga hamne amuñ khaftan. Maybe this is one way.
You break a little bit.
No, Masi Falanja ginga hamne amuñ khaftan. Maybe this is where they need to call to at least, have something blue nice to wear. But
no doubt.
Yeah, but I wanted to come back to something. My gis Luboy Fatih Binda. And that is true that America has been independent for 300 years.
You heard me talk about the importance of stability.
Mm-hmm. What's going on?
Correct.
Mos, I think there is something wrong with your Nakalatura. So phone be there. Yangmadega.
Mangela.
Yangmadega, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Wow, because I'm going Atlanta send internet is terrible. No, what I was saying, my boy party. Yeah, I'm going boy party was talking about like America has been independent for 300 years. That is true.
300 years, yes.
I'm never going to say that. And I'm not saying that we should be at that level. But what we cannot also do, more continue to use like that as the, we can accept the mediocrity and continue doing. Musa, if there is one thing that we do not lack, Moine, we have people who are fully capable and competent to run the country. This is the 21st century. And one thing that people, there was a time when the West had a leg up on technology on us. Now, pretty much, if you are ready to work, we are at par. We've seen what that boy is doing in Burkina Faso. I don't want to get carried away. Within 2 years of his presidency.
Right, the soldier.
So all it asks for more is somebody who is committed and determined to make it work. Corruption can be fought. Can it be eliminated? No. But if you have the political will to fight it, and everybody knows you have the will to fight it, Musa, it can be a thing of the past. Where it becomes a problem, so we continue to napal. Where if Musa Jeng is accused of corruption, the first thing that we do, there will be a delegation from his brothers and Mbokami dem si barone ko date ki kay Mr. President jappale ñu ki suñ dom la kër gu baax la joggé duñ ko tuumani bilay rus nañ be buga dé. And then next thing that will happen will be, nañ wax IGP, let's find a way of killing the case. And this is why most of the people that are accused of corruption, we see them walking the streets. What happened to the petroleum case?
Nothing. It died down.
We're talking about $20 million. Wasn't that?
Yes.
And you wonder why Gambians are still struggling with clean drinking water and stable electricity? Because the money that is supposed to be injected into productive sectors of the economy to help the people is finding its way in people's private pockets. And that is why we continue to wallow in this underdevelopment. While other people are using their money, the United States will take money from their treasury and inject it in where it would benefit the people or to develop their country. We take money that is supposed to go in our treasury and to develop individual lives. And that's the difference.
Look, man, I have no doubt that at one point in their democratic evolution, America, they were basically doing the same thing. There was massive corruption. I mean, we all heard about how robbers used to rob banks and you name it. And yes, it took almost 300 years. Gambia, compared to Gambia, we're just 60 years old. Yeah, no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But to me, I don't think that can be an excuse, because we are able to identify exactly what the problem is. And I left this comment from Dell, because he's basically saying that the question is not controls. Dell, I totally disagree. He's saying it's just people. I think it's the controls. Look at the person that was basically depositing money. Wherever you work in the UK, I don't think it is possible. The controls will not allow you to deposit this money in your bank account. It's not possible. Without the next day, somebody will find out. It's not going to work. It's just like me, the work that I do. I mean, every morning when I wake up, whether people who are night auditors or depositors or people that cashiers that receive money, I should be able to account for every dime. All I do is press a button and a report would be out there telling me the amount of money that these people collected. And someone is going to make sure that that money gets deposited into an account. The controls are another person will reconcile that data with what was actually deposited to the bank. So Dell, it's not only people. Yes, people have a tendency to be very corrupt, but the controls are lax. Controls in my friend, it's seriously not there. So I think it's much more deeper than the way you want to just, well, the same ninyi, those are the same ninyi. A Musa Jeng in Gambia will be extremely corrupt as a financial controller. Could be extremely corrupt. Dawal Pradom, I'm nuko kickbacks and I'm living large. In this country is almost impossible. same job, same position, same person, but what is different is the controls. That's absolutely different. And Pastor,
and you're right. Because you see this guy here, these are all allegations. Some of the money system from abroad to build. There were 18 different deposits between 2020 to 2021. 18 different deposits. And some of them are 2 days after each other. The 5th of February, the 7th of February. So you have these things going into account. So like you said, yes, people in the Gambia, most people, I should not say everybody, are inherently corrupt. They celebrate corruption, they enjoy corruption. So I'm a fighter, you today, if you're not corrupt, you today to the Bugudara. But again, if you have the controls in place, somebody would have been able to say, wait a minute, the amount that you collected on the 5th was not deposited in the accounts. Where is it? But to have 18 different deposits, just go into your private account like that, totaling over $2 million. Come on, we are not very serious.
No. The CEO at Kerewan, Yangi were a bill borehole for the people. We're always complaining that people don't have access to clean drinking water. But the very people that are preventing that from happening, more the CEOs on these financial attaches. These guys are making deals all over the place. The guy went and hired somebody, Kohamne, doesn't even know how to build a borehole. The name is Nyakasi, I think. And he's the middleman. You're talking about $800,000. He went and got some guy to build this borehole. And then the question is, how did you even go about if it were done the right way?
I want to put Mustafa's comment up. Mustafa. He does investigation on this. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting perspective. I think he is aligning to some extent with Dell's Nakalatura. Yeah, the controls are there, but if the controls are there and they are not used, then controls are not there. It's just like the laws are in the books, but if they are not applied, what benefit are they?
Keba Lang says the same thing. I agree with Dale to some extent. The control systems are all important, but no system works better than the manpower that is true. Mustafa, the controls are there. They disable. then the controls are not there. The fact but bear with me for a second. Let's go back to the local government, okay?
They disable them.
Small done by the Jengai at West Coast, Birkama Area Council. Okay, you went ahead and you have all these collectors that are going to go and collect these funds. First of all, I'm not even sure whether the controls are there the way the funds have been collected. Controls more the receipt book that you have. Okay, you go to Pasamba Jaw's shop, move nga collect his link and then nga bindal ko receipt, right? You give it to him. Clearly, the money was collected at the market. At the end of the day, supposedly, this is where the controls come in. He's supposed to go to a cashier and then deposit the money to the cashier. There is a receipt book, the duplicate, that would pretty much tell you how much money that this guy collected during the day. Now, you're going to get situations, our people will participate in it. Masi Pasamba Jaw gi nek marché bir kama nga ñew ne ko mané da nga fay ko la mu ne la dédel xarama mosal la li jola 50% of the amount and then he doesn't get a receipt and then you move on. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that people are not participating in it, they are, but the controls are very lax because the money that was given to you collected, you pay to the cashier is supposed to take that money and deposit it. Internal audit, they should be able to go through the receipt book to basically determine. You don't wait 2 years afterwards. Bro, I mean, that thing is long gone. Then the controls are definitely not there. But if again, there is somebody within Birkama Area Council that will be able to look at all those receipt books the following day to determine how much money that was actually collected and make sure that same day the money is deposited to the bank with a deposit slip. Bro, controls in nekunfa. And it makes it very easy to abuse it. Yeah, accountability be obviously nekufa, and people are participating in it.
It's not there. I think the enforcement, like Rohi says, the enforcement is what is lacking, and you have to be able to enforce, and that's where you have to have the political will. But you know what? Unless your hands are clean, you may not be able to prosecute anybody for being dirty. And
Very
I think
difficult.
yes, so you have to have people who are honest. Like I would love for nothing, and I'm not seeing this just to have somebody like Mustafa K. Dabo as my accountant general or whatever. You know damn well he's not going to look in your eye and be worried about the friends again at this thing. He's just going to do what is needed. But again, you also have to have, let's say in Burkina Faso right now,
Right.
I've seen that the president is giving them a deadline, I think up to April 4th, that everybody is supposed to declare their assets. Those who fail to will be prosecuted, and those who also mislead, falsify their declaration, will also be violating a law, whatever that law is. Siwapa. He has already declared his assets, mom, and expect everybody to do the same. But look at where the problem is, and this is where we have a problem with this current constitution. The old one had it where you declare your assets coming in and going out, together with your spouse's assets too. This one, then, nope. When you're coming in, you can declare. Spouse doesn't have to declare. When you're going out, you'll not be you don't have to declare your assets. Now you're coming in poor, going out rich, and we want to know why you're being the transfer amount from the 500,000. Does that commensurate with the amount of salary that you earn? Because now we know that this is the only job that you've had. Where is the other money coming from? But this government is saying, no. When you're coming in, yes. After that, you go on your own, do what you want to. So how are you going to co-op corruption? It's like coming in, Damapon. So going out, you can be the richest person in the world. Nobody is going to question you. And we know, yes, spouses and all that. There's a reason why in Africa we ask for spouses to declare their assets too. It's very easy for you, Musa, to transfer your assets, whatever it is, in your mind.
Very easy.
So these are the things. And like they say, the reason why we are talking about corruption every time and declaring assets, and it's central to what we are trying to do, is because it's a lot in that country, and it has to change. Otherwise, our people will continue to wallow in abject poverty.
This guy is right. But in Italy, if your account transaction higher than your income, not only that. Actually, even here in the US, if you make a deposit more than $10,000, I can guarantee you they're gonna flag it.
They'll flag it.
They'll flag it.
Go to any car dealership. $10,000 cash to buy a car. Chances before you get out of there, somebody will be there questioning you, and you have to have. In fact, they would ask for pay stub to prove that is yours, because they want to know how you earn this money. So there are some controls, and it does not. Will there be leakages? Yes, in every system, loopholes. But again, in ours, Musa, it's just so sad. Especially when you live in a country where every development, all the development is centered around the government, Sibopa. When you steal, you affect people. We should not be here 65 years after independence, 60 years, sorry, and still talking about lack of drinking water in some areas or a lack of electricity. We should have been able to solve that a long time.
And it's not because that attempts were not being made. Just watch Kerawan Area Council. When people are basically coming up with funds.
Or the Jahali Pacha project.
Yes, so it means attempts have been made to bring clean drinking water to these communities. Why the CEOs of this world, the financial attaches, all these local champions, that $200,000 is damako yobu suma account take ko jabar ndax suma ndewo suma añ suma reer, and they have no conscience. But the other thing is also dara dula ci feka. If you're doing something and there's no price to be paid. The other day, I don't know whether Yola don't want money, what Gambia needs now, because it's really gonna come down to leadership. Somebody has just said that. That's exactly what it's gonna come down to. Monday, man, I would love to see the kind of leader that would be able to fight corruption in that country. Moy a Sidia Jata Khalifa Salah's kind of character, and a Yaya Jammeh's commitment to send you to, the way he does business. If you have those two characters in a leader, I am telling you, you will be able to confront corruption head on. Because again, for Gambia, what we need is somebody who is clean, from day one. They won. They are clean as hell. And they're willing to pursue they have that honesty and that integrity. But also, you need an enforcer. The moment you don't have an enforcer, people will run circles around the leader. I can guarantee you that.
Enforcer was corrupted than anybody else who had ever lived on the face of the earth.
Exactly. But you need a Halifa Saleh Sidia Jatta kind of character with an enforcer like a Yaya Jammeh. If you have,
I'm going to remove the politicians. I'm going to remove the politicians, sir. You have to have somebody like Ture Bugodara, Ture Bugodara, who was part of a system being everybody gave bills and tahikowi. And he shone that because he wanted to do the right thing. A man who was guided by conscience. See what happened? You don't recall Ture Bugodara. Because we like corrupt people. We like it in our system. We like it in the system.
And there are honest people in the system there. We can just pretty much put a paintbrush at everybody. But like you said, that Ture Bugodara, there was this gentleman.
I've been trying to get a hold of. In fact, I one time told Kini Haruna Drame when he was having his interviews that I think that is one guy whose story needs to be told to Gambia, especially if you are trying to teach people about at least there are people who are honest. So this is why, man, I believe somebody like Ture Bugodara should be somebody celebrated in that country. Because Ture Bugodara from Neon, Musa, the lowest custom officer was building the biggest house in that country. This guy remained humble. This guy remained honest throughout the Gambia, Ghana civil service. And I think these are people that need to be celebrated. But of course, they are not going to celebrate him. They would rather Swan Union Sidin Jayas and Haftan and all these corrupt people, But we really need to do something, because at the end of the day, Musa, when people talk, you cannot talk about corruption enough. Because everything that is ailing our nation is as a result of corruption, misappropriation of funds. You johle pacha, nga lekk ko. You johle NTC, nga lekk ko. But the thing that they do, they take all this money takasen ñenti jabar tok ak ñeneen ci jek yo xamne ñu ngi biir Banjul fofu nonu fu nekk ñu taxaw ne njaay samba wasin. That's what they do. The money does not necessarily benefit them or their families. Then go pasare and people continue to suffer. Sad.
So, and it's been going on for the past 60 years, and we're still dealing with the problem. And unless and until we confront it head on, Mota, sometimes you're reminded when you see people like, everybody is talking about this young leader, this military guy in fatigue. Everybody's saying in Burkina Faso. And it gets very tempting. Maybe you clear all these guys and bring that but that is not a solution. That doesn't solve the problem. We've been there, done that. We got a Yaya Jammeh everything that Jammeh was saying, people agree with him. And that is why he was able to get away with it. Everybody knew that there was corruption to the core during the First Republic. Accountability wasn't there. The people that were living large, more the permanent secretaries.
Don't get sold by you.
Now, obviously, I could make the argument that if we have a Jawara now, I think it will be a totally different ball game. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think that the guy was just way ahead of his time. You can
say that again. I think
it would be a totally different situation.
His intellect was
what he had to deal with. But again, that doesn't excuse. We all know it. The problems were there in the First Republic. How do I know?
You were there.
I left America in 1993. Mangi went to civil service. I was working there. That is why when Jammeh came, I celebrated it. I'm telling you, because I saw corruption to the core. And we're going to talk about this. There's a lot of talk about Friendship Hotel being privatized, and everybody, they're selling our assets.
You were there, so you can tell us your perspective.
I was there. I know anybody who thinks they're selling those assets is not the right move. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, these are bad assets. These are badly run assets. Government is not in the business of running these things. But anyway, somebody sent me, and he's going to come, Sekou Kamara, and he sent me something yesterday. I actually wanted him to come and we can talk about it, to give it the kind of, the selling of all these assets that this present government is doing, what it really means. So munehana after we record, Kamara Kundai la nyeme nyun korgi. But I did promise him I would kind of read it past Samba. I don't know if you don't mind.
No.
He just sent it. Mune, please share this on. I wish I could just, Mune Adama Barrow and his government have repeatedly failed to manage key national assets, handling them over to foreign investors instead. The Senegambia Bridge, he leased out. The Banjul Seaport leased out. Megabank sold for crumbs. Gamcel, in the process being sold. The Friendship Hotel, on its way to being mortgaged. Even the country's only airport is being eyed for foreign control. They have mismanaged nearly every vital government institution and parastatal assets, selling off prime lines to businessmen and investors. They've handed our mining, fishing license to foreign companies that are ravaging our resources and environment. So basically, I told him, look, I'll read it out, to be fair to you, but I also would like you to come. Let's have this conversation. I think it's important to kind of give it, because we all saw how the Minister of Finance was on Coffee Time, and he made his argument, and Dr. Mane, my Kawirian brother, was also there too. So that's the kind of conversation that we need to have. I mean, are they going about it the right way? I mean, these are all important issues. But another thing was, Demba Bande was talking about they are going to be appointing Pasambe a new IEC chairperson. And it is important.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Go ahead. No.
Go a different direction.
No. You go.
The reason why I think that this is important, earlier I said, if we want to bring stability in our country, we have to make decisions that will reinforce everybody to trust the system. Mm-hmm. And here is an opportune moment. We all know that at the end of the day, free and fair elections is important in any democracy. Mm-hmm. And having someone, an overseer of this important process, it has to be done in a certain way, Bohamne. Every Gambian would say, you know what? At least I am willing to give this a benefit of the doubt. And I think the government should be very careful. If they want a free and fair election, at least people to trust the system, to make sure they give this job to someone that can be seen by all the players and every Gambian. No matter how, I know our community is polarized. People are very partisans all over the place. But at least appoint someone young, dynamic, independent-minded, that you know what? At least the gatekeeper of this process I can trust. But if you give it to someone with a very checkered past, someone who is seen not to be independent, someone who is compromised, that will be the beginning of creating a problem to the process. And I don't think that will help our democracy, and ultimately, I don't think it's going to help the stability of our country. We all have names. We all know people. Government be dofun, like my mother used to say, dofun jine japu len pan laxalu len. Xam nañ ñun ñep xamante nañ. It's a country of 2.5 million. Ko fi tudda turam nit ñi nañ xam na waaja la o du waaja. So Pop Samba, I think the process is important.
Yeah, Musa, the process is important. Ali Momar Jai, that finally term expire now. Because they had extended his term by, I think it was a year, until March, and that has ended. He served, and I think he will be remembered definitely for what he and his team did in Nakalatura 2016, because I think that was the most challenging time for our country, and if they had waffled, we would have still had Yaya Jammeh in power. But they stood their ground and made sure at the end of the day, the will of the Gambian people were respected. The IEC today, Musa, I believe is the most important institution in ensuring the stability of that country. Because you see, when the credibility of the electoral process comes into question, people will lose faith in the system. When they lose faith in the system, they will go outside of the laws to try to change the system. The reason why during Jammeh, a lot of people were looking at other ways of getting him out of there because they never trusted the system in the first place.
Correct.
And this is why it is important. And because the draft constitution that was written 2020 draft had made it where the IEC chairman would be subject to parliamentary approval, where you go to parliament, you're vetted, and they would vote on your appointment as to whether you're fit to hold the position or not. But of course, Barrow and his people decided to remove that from the 2024 draft. One thing I want to make absolutely clear is for any political party that is worth its salt to make sure that whoever is appointed chairperson of the IEC is a person who is fit to hold that position. This position is so important that it must not just be left to the whims and caprices of President Barrow. We have to appoint people who are qualified, people who are guided by integrity, honesty, and people who qualify, meet all the qualifying requirements in the Constitution. There is nothing sadder, Musa, than to see people parade Sidi Njai's picture as the next chairman of the IEC. It pisses me off every time I see that. And the reason for that, Moy, we have a way of enabling Barrow and his people or anybody in government to do things that are unlawful. Sidi Njai is not qualified to be the chairman of the IEC. And I'm talking about constitutionally. I'm not talking about the person. He has no integrity anyway to be anybody's chairperson. The guy is a mbuyambui. The guy, I don't think, has the honesty. The guy is an opportunist, and I think would fall to the highest bidder. But the issue, Moy, Section 42 of the Gambian Constitution is very clear on who is not qualified to be IEC.
To be IEC president.
Section 42, subsection 5A says that you are not qualified to be IEC if you are a member of the National Assembly. Sidi Njai is. 5B, he or she is or has at any time during the 2 years immediately preceding his or her appointment been nominated as a candidate for elections as a member of National Assembly, which he was not. But see, Moy, if you're a member of a political party, supported or even sponsored a person to run for office, you are not supposed to be a member of the IEC. Musa, these jobs should be so qualified, should be not qualified, should be so important to us that we cannot be throwing names just like that and just say, oh, Sidi Njai is the next chairman. If it's handler. They
just, I mean, that's the kind of nonsense
it's
that
nonsense.
people would just throw.
They would just throw like Sidi Njai and all this. Let's have a very serious conversation as to who we think, based on not because of they come from the diaspora or they like Dabo or they like Barrow or they like Khalifa. No, somebody at the Hamgalan what happened, and I saw Dell wrote something. They're appointing incompetent people to man positions so that they can be easily manipulated. And we have to move away from that in our country. Let's make sure that whomsoever is appointed, especially in a position as important as the IEC, is somebody who is competent and crosses all the T's and I's are dotted to make sure that, this guy, we can have him man this thing and we can go to bed, Musa, because if you have the wrong person, the very stability of our country
Exactly.
will be jeopardized. Because you may
Exactly.
appoint somebody who would do what Jammeh wanted the IEC to do in 2016. And I can guarantee you, Musa, if the IEC had agreed to what Jammeh wanted, nobody knew what that country would have turned out to be. A lot of people would have died because a lot of people became so emboldened that the way that they were confronting Jammeh during that time, he would have gone after people. And chances are people would have said, you know what, we are going to fight back, and this country that we love so much could have been lost. So what I'm urging President Barrow, members of the Inter-Party Committee, stakeholders, civil society, and all these things, do not wait. If you have a name, send it to the Attorney General and say, you know what, I think this person is fit to be considered for this position. We have to get the IEC right. But to do that too, we also have to respect the laws. We cannot just appoint anybody like Barrow tried to do with Orami Joyner. You remember that? Who was not qualified even in the IEC.
That would be a big mistake.
So we cannot allow that. We have to get it right. This is not about Barrow. This is about the future of our country and this continued stability of that nation.
We have according to the 1997 Constitution, President Barrow has the right to appoint. And obviously, it goes through the National Assembly for consultation, right?
Yes.
In accordance with the 1997 Judiciary Committee, Judiciary Commission.
Yes.
Now, and this is where Judicial Commission.
He can just appoint within, even within the IEC, and they don't need to go through the judiciary.
That process. Bro, I think for me, this is the thing. And it comes down really to President Barrow. Really. He can be very political about it, and that would be a mistake because he'll be sowing the seed for instability, if you ask me. Because it's a question of perception. If you go and handpick a Pasamba Jau and people do not believe me, this guy, he has the independence or the character to oversee free and fair elections. I don't care what anybody thinks. The perception is Kidu Waja. It is the moment you are given the power to appoint, you have to take that very seriously. And that means you have to appoint someone, like you said, who has the character, the integrity, the independence. I remember back in 2016, before the elections, and there was a lot of talk. Ali Momar Njai, Jammeh called $300,000 and blah, 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 blah. There was a lot of, people were just talking because none of us trusted the system at that time. We thought, even time before Kine Konsa, all the IEC chairperson, that they were compromised, really. Mm-hmm. And then there was something that Baba Lee said. Munema, Ali Momar Njai mima kham. Munema, I don't think that he will sell his soul. And Baba Lee was here with us against the government, but he was able to. So we need people to be able to vouch, the person giving this job, the gatekeeper, free and fair election, bro, that's important.
Very.
Absolutely important. Bilai, Muna Taldeka. All the civil wars that you see all over the freaking place, it has a lot to do with that. So President Barrow should take this appointment, the power to appoint, very seriously, to consult all the players. Anyone ko hamne is seen to be compromised or very political, that person has no business. The qualifications that you stated, it means black and white. You can fulfill all those criteria, but at the same time, to be the wrong person for the job. So he has to take this very seriously, consult, let's find the right person. That okay, that will be the beginning of having free and fair elections. You talked about promoting from within. Now, man, I cannot have a problem with that.
No, I'm not saying that he should do it.
It can be done without having to go through the process of the Judicial Commission.
Judicial Service Commission and the Public Service Commission.
I get that. But the reason why I'm saying that, this is an IEC that a certain amount of money was deposited in their individual accounts.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, I feel good. But perception is important. I'm not going to be like, we can't just brush it away.
Yep.
So that is why if you bring someone who is dynamic, someone who has chutzpah, somebody that have gravitas, that then you would begin to believe he's going to go in there and bring about fundamental changes. Give us 2026 elections. Ken du muna taxaw ne dañ ko sàcca or at least waaye soo fi jëlee Massi Moussa Dieng ngi ni nga xam ne nga def leen IC chairperson ma nekk ci suma lii bi di and people don't think I'm free and fair.
I'm sa driver as a police mola garre
but di may di ko take easy nekk a local champion
but
it's
you're
a
right.
problem.
We have to take it right. But you know, Barotam, but the opposition too. This is the problem that we have. They cannot also just sit and wait until more of this thing and then come up with. No, this is bigger than any single political party. We are talking about our country. We are talking about the future of our country. Let's get it right. At least for once, let's do it for the country and just appoint somebody and say, you know what? And Malo Sala cannot be nakala to the a member of the IEC anymore. You know,
he's been there.
He's been there because the constitution is very clear. You serve a 7-year term, which can be renewed just once. So when your term is done, you're done. There is no recycling or come on back again. No, once you're done, you're done. You know, when you serve, unless like what happened to the power before, because he was there, then they took him and take him to the KMC, and then reappointed him for another term. That you can do, but otherwise. You're done. Like the park can never be part of the IEC again. Mali should not ever be part of the IEC again. When your 2 terms are done, you're done. Whether you resign in the middle of it or end of it, it doesn't matter. You know. So, but the thing is, there are enough competent people in that country.
So Pasamba, why don't we get into the name game? I don't think that there is anything wrong with that, because maybe we want to give feelers to the president. I think it's important. They may be safe pick, whatever you think of them. I think it's important, Pap Samba. That
to be Fala,
we don't know all the Gambians. And we have to be fair, especially somebody like me. I've lived in the US for so long. So
how long is that?
Over 35 years. Why not? Pasamba, yo yama fi gëna yaga parce que man ñibi won na.
Naka la fi gëna yagé?
8 xam nga ñu ne da ngay man dama ñibi 3 years maa ngi Gambia to man nekkatuma woon sa America.
No, okay. Yo kañ nga dem Gambia? 93 nga dem.
93 laa dem.
Nga del si waat kañ?
Yo kañ nga ñëw?
No, hold on. Nga ñëw 96. 96
laa ñëwaat.
Okay. So 3 years. And before that, how long did it
continue? Déet bu ma nekk di laaj. Yow kañ nga fi ñëw?
Man maa ngi ñëw 95.
So
a year later nga ñëw.
This Negro.
Yow bi nga ñëwee léegi yow total fu mu nekk nii almost 40 years in total soo ko join.
Yow you've been here ñaata years 30 years.
Thank you very much, Kopul Sane. Mu ne yow you've been here for 50 years. So
no, why me?
Musa, you're talking about
yow mi tamit naa la weer yàgg nga fi de. So Pasamba, we don't really know everybody. Xam nga li tax li unfair. There are a lot of good people
that we don't know.
But again, we've also been very in tune with the political process, even though ñun ñu ngi fii nii. So we kind of have an idea the who is who, the people that are at least out there. So I think throwing names will not be a bad idea. I'm the names I will throw because they are too political. I mean, do I believe that Mari Jobate has the character to be IC chairman? Yes, but Mari Jobate will not be the guy.
He will not be. So man what believe
activism and
who the person is. Do not believe, man. I believe somebody like Father Edu. I believe like somebody like
Father Edu.
I believe somebody like Pastor Forbes.
I like Pastor Forbes.
Somebody like Dr. Ablai Sen.
I like
somebody like Mrs. Adelaide Sose. Somebody like Njundu Drame. Neka
New
at
Dramé,
the National
New
Human Rights
Dramé,
Commission.
I like New Dramé.
So man, these are people that I believe man seeing them in public, they are watching them. I believe these are people I think will be honest and will not be people can be moved by anybody to run this position. So I know that there are other names out there that we can look into,
That we
but we should be able to
really
have
know.
a pool of names, competent people, and all we are looking for more competency, honesty, integrity, and all that. And then from that pool, you choose one person who will be able to run the affairs of that commission. But man, Pastor Forbes and Father Edu,
Man, we talked about that. I think somebody like Father Edu, I don't think I am telling you, the guy IEC chairperson, he will call it as he sees it. And I think the majority of Gambians will say, Pastor Forbes, the same thing. Now, let's be honest. I don't know these people in Tamga, but all we are looking at is their public persona, what they represent. There was this other lady, Taimi Jame. What was her name?
I know Kugawa, the lady who told Jame, you know what? I know they told me not to say this thing to you or come here because you don't like it, but you know what? Exactly. Yeah, Hannah something.
Hannah something, exactly. Yeah. That is also someone that we have to really, I mean, the person
Hannah Fall.
Not very political. Understand what I mean? And get caught up in this partisanship. I think if the president, if he chooses the right person, I think that will be the beginning of having free and fair election. We need somebody also who will go into the IEC, Jaze Averi, I mean, for me too, I have a person that people will think I'm crazy. I think Banka will be a hell of an IEC chairperson. I can guarantee you that. He has the scars to show for it. He has the intellect, and I think that he's independent enough. But that's just me being unfair. Because he's my man. I have to throw his name in the mix. I think he can be a hell of an
I know that if he were to be appointed, I think he would do a very, very, very good job.
Oh, are you kidding me? He said Ismail. So again, you all have your names. But what is important, Moine, we have to keep the conversation, because giving the job to the right person, I think is equal. I think is very important.
No,
I mean, the current chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, both sides they could attack. I think Kini Naka, what's his name again? I think
IEC chairman. I'm too partisan.
Hey, no. Your activists can call it IEC chairperson. But that's the perception with it. I would be a better IEC chairperson than Pasambadi.
Why?
Because I'm much more independent. I'm much more finding solutions. You are a bomb thrower. Say you're of their tanga. IEC chairperson, you need somebody who is deliberate, due diligence. That kind of thing.
You know what your problem would be. They're trying to analyze every situation and how it's going to work. So nothing is going to get done.
Why Morocco? You remember the referee? You don't play referee. Why? Key fight. Alaji Faye. New James Senegal. But this was the days of Walidan and Starlight. A very tanga. So Alaji Faye knew. Mune kuwin bahna. Why money? Kuwin back. But seriously, I think the president needs to be reminded that.
No, we need to. We cannot let this thing to go. I'm going to we get distracted very easily.
You cannot get this wrong.
Yeah, you cannot. Especially because our politics is so charged now.
Oh,
man. Somebody who will be unifying. Somebody I would go one further, even though the constitution, with the Public Service Commission and Judicial, I wouldn't even mind to saying, you know what, hey, this is the guy that I have in mind as IEC chairman. Or even tell the opposition, you know what, I am about to listing. If you have somebody that you think is honest and listing, send me the names. I have considered it.
Consult. No, the consultation, I think, is important. Why is the whole approach is going to be very political. I think that would be the big
mistake. But they're gonna name somebody. Alkali Conte is not
qualified. No.
Those people are not qualified to be IEC.
I mean, somebody. We even talked about. I said Dr. Lamin Sise Bobulen. Kinekon TRRCB. Somebody told his relationship with Hussein. But this is someone that I, honest to God, believe me. He has the integrity and the capacity to be IEC chairperson.
No, of course, but they're not contributing.
with the opposition leader, maybe that might be the perception out there are key causing Useinula.
Yeah.
But does he have what it takes?
They're not going to do that.
I think the man does have what it takes. But again, President Barrow has to get this thing right. Pasamba, soon lady be Tukulosi, our sister, he's talking about this issue at the Makati Square. The government stepping in and basically take it out of the hands of the municipality.
So boy, he should be considered loom. But he's a ref by training, so.
Hey, no, guy Atlanta, more than Jai Swing Match. Guy come from Loom. Guy Atlanta, I don't think they will endorse your candidacy. But the Loom, the fight on you. He's a non-Loom guy.
Yeah, but the Makati Square thing, Musa.
Yeah.
Anything. Even if a government bisa, the central government had the powers to maintain it. Musa, yo balanga dem wali yani ne yange dem di raka balaji negi jambur because the neg bada tiling. Musa, have you gone to any of these government offices? I've been to what's the name of the place? Quadrangle.
Yeah, it's bad.
Musa, Quadrangle is like a dump. Unless they're telling you the office of Ineka, because it's so dusty. You go to their hallways, everything is everywhere. You go to this guy, even this thing, Musa, the painter, oil paint, after a while, the flame coil up. In fact, you may not even be able to discern one more park in the ministry ban, because it's not even well maintained. There is nothing that this government is maintaining that people can look at and say, you know what, this building they have maintained it very well. If it looks nice, it's new. Give it 6 months. Everything is destroyed. Go to any of these government buildings and try to use even their bathrooms. Musa, they are not running anything well in that country. For you to get up and say, oh, we're taking Makati Square because it's not well. Are you serious? It doesn't even make sense, Musa, what these people are doing. Don't add to your plate. Yo, I cannot.
All of you are Ngembangay Jin Tat.
Wow.
Let me say this.
No, Tatanga Jin Yamba Dohot.
Tatanga Jin Gemba.
Wow.
Let me say this. I don't believe the government or the office of the president can do a better job. I also do believe Banjul municipality, BCC, Suma sister, they were the ones overseeing Makati Square. They've done a horrible job at it. They did a horrible job at it. And I don't believe the office of the president is the solution. You see, Pasamba, it is so unfortunate. Motamane government is the problem. Makati Square, of all places, that piece of land. Look at places like that and the amount of money. When you hear of let's even look at these shows that people are having, musical shows. You talk about Q City, they're making a lot of money. $350,000, $400,000. Billahi wal kitabi. Kuman liso on Makati Square. Government, I'll put a lot of money in the government's coffers. And I'll be a local champion, very rich. Government, the municipality, Rohi Malik Law, they have a hell of a resource that they're not utilizing. Why are people going to Q City? Why are people going to Coco Ocean, having their weddings? Dinner fence Makati Square, 12 feet, Choco. I will walk the ground. I will make it so beautiful. All musical shows, they'll be ringing at my door to have their events at the Makati Square. You can take Makati Square to the next level. They're not exploiting it. The municipality dropped the ball, and I don't think that the office of the president has what it takes to do it. It's going to take someone who sees this product, I can develop it. They go to the campus where they have their workshops and things like that. Makati Square is big enough. Baby, my passing order for I mean, you can still have them there. But what it's going to take is someone who is innovative, someone who is business minded to make it happen. Government has every right to take it away from BCC because BCC hasn't done the right thing. They get it wrong to bring it under the office of the president because they don't have what it takes either to do it. Makati Square is a gold mine if you put it in the right hands. Oh, I mean, look at Q City. Seriously, Pasamba. We were at Coco Ocean, you remember? The only reason why people go to Coco Ocean for their weddings, man, them never. I mean, I'm not impressed with Saint Hotel. Seriously, I'm not at all. Really. But they have this nice ground that people, Bahamabi, and people can sit and then they have their outdoor weddings and they're paying an arm and a leg. What makes you think that same thing cannot be done at Makati Square? It can be done in the right hands. And you would think, BCC with all their problems.
You know what problem you're going to have at Makati Square, Musa? Where are you going to park?
Hey, where are you going to park at Makafili? Q City, Malajla. Where are you parking at Q City?
They have parking though.
Are you kidding me? What parking? Q City.
Well, I don't drive, so I wouldn't know.
Hey, Amga man malagena neka. I went to every show at Q City be Gambia. You don't. How many guy they park? Highway be battle hiding highway. That means they go close completely.
But okay, here's the thing though. With Banjul, no, Makati Square Musa, I think it's a lot more complicated.
Meima, most of these musical shows you have them in the middle of the night. Banjul is dead. Kennekufa. From Grand Street, people are going to park the streets. All those streets, Wellington, Darnekufa. I'm telling you the truth. It's dead. If I were to advise Rohi Malik Law, take Makati Square, make the necessary investment. It's a gold mine for the people of Banjul. You guys will waste so much money.
So let me ask this, Musa. Because this is the same government that cannot even maintain a damn stadium. They could not. They have spent almost over 200 million and you could manage better. Nothing happens. There is nothing that this government run. No real estate that you can look at, Musa, and say, you know what? This is Nakalatura, the right is going on the right way. So how about if government were to go to BCC and say, you know what, how do we make this place a more viable Nakalatura institution for all of us, for government and all these things? And the other issue that you have, where Makati Square is, because the president of the Gambia lives next door to it. So the security part of it is something that they're going to be very concerned about, especially at night and all that. So you have to be able to navigate all that. But I agree with you that a lot more can be done with Makati Square to generate more revenue for the council. But I believe the wrong people to run it is the government, the central government, particularly State House.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's my thing. This government has no. Listen, this is a government bigger than Musa. They say they cannot manage the bridge. Nyuko nakalatura outsource. They cannot manage nakalatura airport. Nyuko outsource. They cannot manage anything they can manage. They are outsourcing it. Now they want to take over Makati Square and Nyuko give them money.
Let me tell you, this government cannot run anything. I made myself very clear. I am very open to this outsourcing and giving it to other people that can run it. Because, I know the government cannot run it. Especially this government. I'm telling you, it's not the solution. Now, BCC, they've done a horrible job. So, you had this thing all along, and you haven't done anything with it. There are weeds growing all over the place. Independence dijot. That's when they start putting in a lot of money into it to kind of refurbish it, to bring it to a point where they will not celebrate independence. If that's their frustration, and that is why they're out there saying that we're going to take it over. Why they don't have what it takes to take it over. Look at
nonsense. You're gonna spend over 100 million. You look at that Musa, I was alive.
100 million. Are you kidding me?
This guy, window dressing, that's what we call it at DOI then. When they had the 1990 independence anniversary, the Silver Jubilee. Sibopa. PPP Agnunyana Sahib Sibopa. They were, you come to the country, this was a milestone celebration. Whatever money they spend there. But this horribet, different guys celebrate needing they spending for 100 million. Listen, the government should just. The biggest problem that we have in that country, Musa Amoy, everything that this government does is looking at it from a political lens. That's just what it is.
Which is terrible.
Which is terrible.
I see my man here, Emmanuel Juve. This is basically, he has captured what we are saying. The IEC chairperson must be beyond suspicion. It's important. Overwhelming majority of Gambians must have confidence in that person. Very important. He or she must be a person of proven integrity, bold and non-partisan. Because let us remember that a major driver of conflict in Africa is disputed election. We say that, sowing the seeds of instability. So it is absolutely vital that the IC chairperson is known and seen to be a person of high integrity. We cannot and should not compromise on this. Dig it, like Papa Nderi would used to say. Dig it. So President Barrow, he has his work cut out. Like, they need ko hamne dal ñep soko waxe ñu ne ki mom wax deug yalla.
They probably have got this, that's very. Have got this BCC central government issue bini Musa. I remember when they didn't want even Rohi and the BCC to move to the new building.
Yeah.
Because what they wanted was hopefully Ibufai would win and they would open it themselves. And of course that did not happen. So they've always been trying, I don't think there is a need for this animosity between the councils.
No, they can find common ground, but let me tell you.
The other thing, I think the money that is supposed to come from central government to subvent the councils
subvention is not happening.
It's not happening. But
one
council that I see that so far they're doing very well. Definitely, I have to say this: watching Yangs and what he's doing in Birkama,
correct.
You can even look at it and say, you know what, he is trying to do something different from what the status quo has been. But it's just,
No, he is. No, Ginga BCC, bro, Makati Square, the more I even think about it, it's a gold mine. And I hope that, but then you cannot
mind and Musa Jeng.
No, but the more I talk about it, the more I get myself so convinced. So people are talking about parking. I'm angry small Atlanta guy, Adubai. Banjuraka parking. And BCC could even create the parking. You see how you go to, and people are saying this guy goes again with his dreaming. You see this, parking lot definitely double deck, triple deck it can be done. And BCC will be generating so much money. They won't even know what to do with it. They won't even need the Gambian. But Mayor Bohamne is so bold and dynamic and willing to do. And Rohi has those credentials, but so they maybe get into the system. And they have a fate. Makati Square is a gold mine, bro. I am so convinced about that.
Well, maybe this controversy is a good thing. Maybe it can also bring about the potential of what in fact, I like the fact that they are at least fighting for it, because at the end of the day, we cannot just allow them, people to just
look at that piece of real estate, Aknimre. And all you see is weeds. Or time in my pass rek punda be jolly. You never send red carpet yoyulen. Are you really kidding me? You put it in the hands of someone. These developers like Nyon Taf, la ilaha illallah. They will make so much money, they won't even know what to do with it. Motaman, I like this whole thing, private hands. Government is a problem, is in the way. No end of bureaucracy and corrupt people. That's all you see.
No, isn't your linga as a police useful? Because even if you don't want for noise pollution, you can also have this noise reduction. This is the 21st century. Where the fencing would reduce the noise outside of Ufnga.
Look at, I go back to my examples. Places that I see that I'm making money. Gambia, amun ben piece of real estate where you can have this open, Q City. One of the richest man in the Gambia. You know how much money Mohammed Jai is making at Q City with that piece of real estate? The moment I have quarrel with him. Boy, beyond being our bill, pour mu dem when they have musical shows or some of these events. Bro, Yon Bobi is so bad. I cannot imagine why Mohammed Jah will not invest. I mean, you see all these, Gaide Jaisa, Pundabi, access to Q City itself. I guess he's waiting for the municipality to build a road. That's where
But
QCity
but
is, my friend.
if it is bringing you revenue, why would you have to wait? In fact, it makes business sense to at least develop it where now it will be a lot more attractive to potential. The problem with the Gambia, boy, people do not look at all that. You know, they just have an open space. And the amount that they charge for those places, you have to at least able to develop the place to continue the way that it's supposed to be. But anyway, it is just
my sister, Malik Low, call me. We will put together a business plan. Turn around. I'm a Banjulian, you are a Banjulian. We all remember Makati Square, when we used to go there, there were all these sporting Adumai, you know what I'm talking about. Call me. We can develop a business plan. You will not even need the subvention coming from government to BCC. I can guarantee you that. Banjul will be flying high. You can build, parking lots that will generate you so much money. You won't even know what to do with it. You have to think outside of the box. Forget about saying GRA. That's not going to develop the Banjul as a municipality. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not going to develop. Seriously.
GRA.
I mean,
you know what, man? You know what? I would rather be Wa Combo than Wa. I'm not going to get into saying Wa Banjul. What? Because Banjul soft get Bugade. I'm serious, and you know, Adu is here, so I'm not going to go much. You know, when you talk about this place, you'll think that Hamgalanda.
I'm not with this peace man. I'm with proximity to the state that makes it unsuitable. Are you kidding me, bro? I'm telling you, what makes you think that it's not? Come on now, you know, it's a piece of real estate. It can definitely, something can be done. Pop Samba. So what's on the...
No, Musa, as we speak, a lot of our people live in uncertainty. And you see like what is happening to Mr. Tal, who is studying to be, for his PhD at Columbia University. And they are asking him to report to ICE because they want to deport him. And his crime is that he had the audacity to stand for something. But this orange-faced tyrant that we have here in Trump is trying to, you know, act like this tin pot tyrant, you know, going after people. But Musa, I was thinking about Demba something. There's a saying that I would rather live in abject poverty than to be rich under any form of subjugation. And the reason I'm saying that, Musa, it is very sad. During leading up to the elections, I saw people, immigrants, who were so focused on the economy. Oh, Trump's economy be, you know, the economy is not going well. I think Trump would fix the economy and other stuff. That their whole focus was on what Trump would do for the economy, like as if this guy, Cornell University, like this guy had ever done anything for the economy. He destroyed the economy anyway during his first term. When people want about his excesses and what he is going to do, I'm not Trump is one politician. Whatever bad he told he was going to do, he did. He's not going to waffle about it.
Exactly.
You know? So whatever we are seeing from this guy is nothing new. It's something that has been advertised, something that has been played out in front of the whole world during his first term. But in fact, this is the same guy who sent people to go and march into the capital to disrupt the certification of elections. Something that anybody who had told me when I came to this country, that is a possibility, waste of time. It will never happen in this country. And people were blinded by what is happening in Gaza. If we have Trump would end the war. Or Ukraine, Trump would end the war. And what is he doing, Musa? And the other thing, Moi, we've seen reports about Gambia being on that list of countries that may, you know, and that has everything to do with people who are supposed to be deported from this country. Because the deportation process, the way that they work, you have to, unless you tell them I am a Gambian, they can suspect, but for the travel documents, the embassies would have to comply because they have to provide those travel documents. Knowing Trump, he may not even care. He can put them in a plane like he did and dump them in Panama like he did to some people. So they are forcing these governments to comply. Otherwise, they would have these restrictions. And these restrictions are not for people applying for visas unless they change it. It's mostly for those diplomats coming to this country. So now he is also going to end possibly DACA. And that one is young people. I saw this guy who was in Atlanta. A guy Musa, Liberian kid, who came here at the age of 2. Was in Atlanta, never committed a crime. He was a barber. I'm his barber shop. They deported him to Liberia.
Somewhere that he doesn't even know the place. He's never been there, pretty much.
And so when we say DACA, it's those people, and this is why the Obama administration gave them special, protection. The dreamers to stay in the country, and then they would get their work permits and other stuff. So there are a lot of young Gambians who came to this country at a very, very young age, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, who they have zero connection to the Gambia other than Senyai and St. Parents. And these people are now all going to be, because they're giving them 30 days to leave the country or whatever. So all these people are going to be affected by this. And these are people that we live with, people in our communities. And the 3,000 they are saying, there are a lot of Gambians who've been here for ages, 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, Muninyo Amkei. And all these people are very model citizens. They've not committed any crimes, but due to Trump and this system, they will just yank them and take them out. People like who have green cards, now there was a time during the last administration where if you have this, what green card they're not allowing to come in. It's one of those when you get married also, they give this 2-year green card and then you have to go again for new approved couple, the 10-year one. Those are some of the people that they are pretty much giving hard time to. But knowing this system, no one is safe. One day, if I am to be taken out based on protest, I would really love that. Because when
I call Trump, I'm not a boy bumaham. Activist la, that they dem chili. The mobile get deported mo kon you watch Gambia.
I am looking for one. Benga hamneni from nekani, a big one to go to.
Bro, the saddest part, I saw that guy, Momodu Tal, somebody with conviction, and all the guy is doing legal student visa, doing a PhD program. A program at Cornell, and clearly, what the hell? He's fearful he's going to be deported. And I never thought, we always used to say, in America, there are certain things that cannot happen because of institutions. Trump is turning around and giving finger to these institutions. Judges are making ruling. He ignores them. He's the elected president. Who the hell elected you as a district judge to tell him what to do? And the other thing is, he's taking this issue, lying to his teeth, basically saying the people that were arrested, sent to El Salvador, these are all criminals. They never went through due process. He doesn't care about due process. And he's getting away with it. In the United States of America, you go figure. Mona Pasamba, I used to be very mad at you. This was before the elections. When people were calling Genocide Joe, he's going into this and doing that. And I'm like, dude, all you guys are doing is helping this guy. And then what happened? You go to places like Michigan, Dearborn, activists all talking. They had problems with this Democrat allowing the Israelis to murder Palestinians in Gaza Strip. I'm like, wallahi, bolen come on, linga yacht, dingen buy linga a yacht. Because the alternative is worst. I was watching the news yesterday. Places like Jenin, the West Bank, they call it now Judea and Samaria. You know what that means? They're going to annex the West Bank. And the people of Dearborn, Michigan, how do you like that? It reminds me when we were young at Senegal, they said, God bless his soul, Koto John. So am si boy si rek ku jëloon alquran bi rek xoti ko nonu len ne ko hay koto yeen seen alquran yi ni. A week later boy bi loxom bi neewi be I know that it was coincidental. So mu romba koto ne ko naka fofa. Why the people of Dearborn, Michigan tamit? I'm asking them, naka fofa, how do you like this? We all know if Kamala Harris was the president, the current president, clearly the situation would have been different. Clearly, they would have tried to find resolution. They would have been tough on Israel. Not this guy. He doesn't care. Do you know the guy that is appointed to be the ambassador? The former governor of Arkansas, Huckabee. I mean, these are people that believe that the Palestinians have no business. These are Bible evangelists that believe in these kind of things. They believe in names like Judea and Samaria. Before you know it, I mean, you see Trump threatening them. Actually, he's going to go in there and level the Gaza Strip, and that these people should move to Egypt or the neighboring Arab countries. Elections do have consequences, and it's unfortunate. Again, I mean,
most calling Joe genocidal, I have.
Joe Miller, I was very angry.
No, I have zero regret for that, because that's what it was. He was enabling it. But that doesn't mean Trump was going to be any better. No more calling a fact is what it is, you know. So, but the thing is, the people who, because if Trump was somebody who was new to us, but he is the same guy who had the Muslim ban on Muslims. But your guys in Michigan decided that, you know, he was the best solution. So let's vote.
I don't understand that. I seriously, I never understood it, Pasamba, even then. Now, was I crazy? I didn't like what Biden was doing. I hate him flying out of here because of what happened to everybody. Knew what the Palestinians, what's their name, Hamas did to those innocent Israelis by slaughtering them was disgusting. It was, seriously. I mean, and I get it. They're killing Palestinians for the past, going all the way back 50, 60 years. And a life is a life, and I get it. Joe got carried away and flew to Israel to sympathize with them. I mean, it was a bad move, horrible move for that matter. And I could understand people like you and all of us were angry. But you know what? Even under that, you have to use your head. We cannot be emotional about it because we know what the alternative is. This guy was exploiting it to the hilt. Now, the more you call him genocidal Joe, the more it helps Trump's candidacy.
Well, you know what, man, I have no vote, never voted, never would vote. So you guys who voted for whom you wanted. So like they say, Sani Karta Mate Nguri Mate Rek. So let's just deal with it for the next 4 years. And you know, somebody was talking about silver lining, like, because they were like, oh, this election, and then you know what? Now this guy has controls everywhere. So good luck to you guys and winning any other elections, you know, finish. So,
and you know what? The elected leaders, go to the Republicans. They are, I never believe, Gomundara. We always like to say the African politician Gomundara. They are the worst. I'm telling you, they are all intimidated. All they care about is maintaining their Senate, like people like Lindsey Graham. That's all this guy believes in. It's a chameleon of the highest order. And look at Marco Rubio. Lam Gomonso Gomotuko. I mean, these people, they have all become so...
What did he call it? Is it Naka? Little Mark? Naka? What did Trump call him? I'm going to come on the Trump. He just had
Little Marco.
Lying Ted.
Lying Ted. He called them all names in the book. They don't have, I'm telling you, they don't have spine anymore. But you know me, man. I watch political shows like crazy. I don't even... You're accused of being intolerant. Now, I cannot even watch these shows and listen to people like Scott Jennings telling some big... People are just... Americans have become so dishonest. I mean, it's just unbelievable, bro. Be like, Trump is breaking the law, and well, at least they have judges that are out there calling him out. That's a good thing. And I see the Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts came out and basically went after him. Because somebody like Trump, I'm telling you, he really doesn't care. I mean, he would do anything.
And I think did you hear him talk about how intelligent the son is? Because he able to put the computer off and he came within 5 minutes. He had it on him like, but Byron, how did you do that? No, none of your business that. So this son is pretty much a genius because he was able to put the computer off and put it back on again. But and look at him talking about District of Columbia. Oh, I never like that. We are nowhere close to Columbia. We have no this thing. Is from now on, it's now District of Nagalakode, DCA, or whatever, District of America.
He's an idiot.
What the hell? Does he even know what Colombia is about? It has nothing to do with Colombia, the country. They're not even spelled the same. But
Baby, he's a demagogue. He's a panderer. He says things like, I'm going to protect this country from all these killers. They release them from jails in Venezuela, in El Salvador. I'm not going to sit here and allow these people to take over our country. See, he uses statements like that, and gullible Americans would take it. I'm telling you, they'll swallow it and run away with it. And it's so unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Nothing else matters. Due process doesn't matter anymore. If you are now, so this 3,000 Pasaba, let's get back to that. Because for me, I don't believe they have 3,000 Gambians. I'm telling you, in custody, and trying to deport them.
No, they are not in
I
custody.
don't believe that. Huh?
I don't think they are in custody.
I don't believe that.
I'm going to make anything for people to also be very, because of, we have to, the sad thing, Musa, is the GAA here in DC. We had 2 sessions with a lawyer, immigration lawyer, just so that people will be able to ask questions and all. But Gambians, Agnobu. Musa, can you believe the first one, only the organizers were on the call. Nobody called. Because everybody is thinking that if I call, people will know the mind status. And sometimes you can just come and just listen for a cousin or nephew or whatever, because all this misinformation that was happening, we decided, you know what, let's have something. Then the second time, of course, she came and then explained all this thing. Now, the other issue that is happening, Musa Moy, ICE now has reached an agreement, I understand, with IRS, something that the IRS had resisted for a very long time for privacy reasons. Where now, if you are filing taxes...
it's running the IRS now?
Yep.
Of course. It's easy now.
Yep. So now, if you are here, if you are illegal, whatever that means, now IRS will now share your information with ICE, and they can come after you. What that means is, if you are illegal and have not filed your taxes, chances are a lot of people who file late may not file again for fear that now they'll be able to trace them and order. So they have all that information. So what I believe with this 3,000, Musa, when I believe that there was a time there are so many people maybe would have claimed Gambian citizenship due to the dictatorship in the Gambia to file for papers also. Right. And of course, in this system, they will be considered Gambians. Now, if you were denied and giving order to leave the country, deportation, this thing,
voluntary deportation.
So they would have that information.
Correct.
So I don't think they have them in custody, but I know there are a lot who were supposed to leave this country and have not left. It's just a sad thing,
And like you said, people that were under, and there are a lot of people. I mean, going all the way, even there are people who've been here, bro, for 40 years, and they're under. You'll be surprised. They've been here since in the 80s. I mean, they're very unfortunate to get papers, and they're under, voluntary deportation. And they do have social security. They have all the legitimate, IDs and all of that, working in jobs and things like that. So, like you said, now that we have this corrupt government, the IRS, people that are heading it, it's very easy to take those names, people that are under voluntary deportation, give it to the IRS, and they can pretty much, you've been filing taxes, they even know where you live. No, they do.
No, when the feds need you, Musa, they have no problem finding you. And the sad thing, I saw this guy. I don't watch the news. I will read the Washington Post, New York Times, and all
Correct.
these things. Washington Post has or they've decided Jeff Bezos they should not say anything bad about the administration. So the last hope now is New York Times, maybe the Atlantic and all those other papers. But this guy, who's Hispanic guy who supported Trump, voted for Trump, when he was stopped by them, and he was, you know what, I'm a U.S. citizen. And you know what, when they handcuffed him, what the guys were saying, can you believe this guy? Pretty much they were laughing at him, you know. And the other day, Mangi, I was just walking, coming from the store, and around here, I saw these like unmarked cars all over the place. But a lot of people handcuffed, and they were mostly Hispanics, you know. So they have police, and I know I'm like, no, these are the ICE guys because of new policy fini. They don't help them. They don't participate in it. So if it were, you would have seen the police. So I just went by them, and it's just sad, something that we never thought we would see in this country from Nekani.
I never thought any American president can be so brutally, not only dishonest, but the way Trump is acting, I never thought no one could get away with it in the United States. Mm-hmm. But apparently he is. Look at what's happening. This Elon Musk.
He doesn't care. He does what he wants, says what he wants, and you know, he has an alternate truth, and then that's who he is, you know.
And you've always said this, Democrats, they don't have a spine in them. That's why I like Bernie. La ilaha illallah. He's out there fighting. Bernie Sanders. His rallies, campaign at Las Vegas, all over the place. He's going to red states, calling Trump out. Then you have Matthew, Schumer Mini, cave in. I cannot really believe that. There is a time to fight. There is a time to compromise.
I'm going to leave one example. When I told you, they need somebody. As you just see this status going on and see this thing. No, this is Masi AOC. Masi nyam croquet la to the Jamie that smart lady. No, let me tell you why Republicans succeed in their politics. Republicans, it doesn't matter how insignificant number like I am in the Congress, you would always know where they stand. They will fight like there is no tomorrow. In fact, they would fight to the extent you have the majority, sir. You cave into their demands. The Democrats,
yes,
these people, they're too wow. Taksuma needs to resign and just go and do this thing. The man is 99 years old. You know, you need a fighter like Bernie Sanders.
No, Bernie Sanders is the real deal. I can tell you that. I was listening to him the other day with AOC. And Trump does what Trump needs. Trump needs a huge pushback. Even if I'm glad the Democrats were saying, well, they don't want a government shutdown. To hell with it and let the chips fall. Take the fight. Look at what Elon Musk is doing. It's just unfortunate. It's definite. But Pasamba, I was talking to someone, Dimba. Mm-hmm. I don't know how true this is. It's on the low. But there are people that have invited opposition party stakeholders. I don't know how true it is. And this guy is from Nagala Sankare Donwa, from the corridors of
Kisi Mansa.
Mm-hmm. They're saying there is a meeting to be held today, and they're talking about bringing the political parties together so that we can bring about change in 2026. Again, I've had some names, and I'm like, good luck to them. But it's like they always say, history has a way of repeating itself. It's no. I have seen this movie before.
No, Musa, I'm not Lumana Hari. Lamin Karawale 98% dala jox ma 95.
Then let me put it up there. Hey, Barry Lamin, today, mom. Why am I not Lumana Hari? What on your job person at least below 50%? Because when I 15 so
no, Sarian Nyawute, Sarian, I
oh,
think
you ask me about Sariang now. Sariang is doing the good thing. He's going to the Umrah. He's going to the Mungadem the Tawaf and doing Asamba. The most beautiful thing is doing the Fajr prayers at the Haram. It is one of the most beautiful things that you can. I'm telling you, it is so beautiful. Nga usuba. Serian Damakonyesa. So Serian is gonna be out for this Sunday, I think next Sunday as well. So he will be
next
back.
Sunday, depending on
The
quality,
following
will
weekend.
be on, is it?
Depending on quality, like April 7th or April 8th. I'm talking about April 7th, April 8th. We are getting Nakalanyande Oete, Nyom Solbaji.
Yeah.
They're coming here. Coalition for Change. They're gonna come.
System change, is it? Yeah.
Huh?
Coalition for system change. I think that's what it is called, is it?
Coalition for Change. I think.
For system change.
For system change. Coalition for system change. They are going to be here to talk about, their strategy and where they are, and that they are getting ready for 2026. But talking about that, there are other people on the ground. And I'm talking about serious people that are meeting with stakeholders, and they're trying to find a way that how the opposition parties can come together and maybe bring change. How do you read that, Pasara?
Well, let's see what the outcome is going to be. Now,
you don't seem to be very hopeful.
Yeah, I know that it's not. If there is one thing that's going to be very, very difficult, building a coalition in the Gambia of all political parties. So I think at some point they would have to do a very strategic thing by not hoping to get everybody on board, but getting the key players in it. I don't think it's a bad idea, because I don't think if for anything, Barrow should not serve another term. I think Barrow should be defeated. And to me, defeating Barrow has nothing to do with his performance as a president, but so that we will not have any other president that will self-perpetuate again.
Our system needs it, to be honest.
I was just watching an interview that I did with QTV, Dr. Cisse, we did it in 2019. And both of our positions was that Barrow should not succeed himself after, reneging on the promise to serve only 3 years, and that no president in that country should serve for more than 2 terms. That was our position. When my Dr. Cisse, that interview that we did QTV. Now I think Dr. Cisse has a different opinion.
Oh, no, he's dancing
now I think to him, Barrow should not only succeed himself. I don't think Doctor would have a problem with Barrow going for even a 6th term, as long as he's in the government. But I think it is in the interest of our country and the interest of the democracy and stability that we're trying to build, that Barrow, if he chooses to run, must be defeated at the polls, so that at least we'll give our country a chance where we will not have another president to self-perpetuate. Musa, it doesn't make sense for the Gambia to continue through this process of underdevelopment for this long. One president 30 years, the other one 22 years. Another 15 years, and our country is not moving. No. Barrow was supposed to be there for 3 years. 3 years, he reneged on that. 5 years. Say 5 years, he reneged 10 years. Legi momo for the word aduna si be ndaka taga Macky Sall for deciding not to go for a 3rd term. Now Barrow wants to go for a 3rd term. No, Barrow must be punished at the polls. He must lose for the Gambia to prosper. Barrow must be defeated for the Gambia to move forward. We cannot continue to have the presidency of Adama Barrow. And to me, it has nothing to do that he is a good president. I don't think he is. But must we continue to just have these people just come and just play games with us? I'm just going to be here for this long. You tell us all these stories, we vote for you, and you renege on those promises and do whatever you want because of your people are telling you if you leave, your party will die. That's utter nonsense. Musa, our country, we don't have jot to waste on people that are not delivering. And Barrow definitely is not delivering, and Barrow must be defeated. And if that means the people coming together to make it happen, let's do that. But Barrow must lose in 2026, sorry.
Well, Samba, you've said something very profound. Irrespective of where you are, even if you feel that Barrow has done something, you can talk about, Dr. Cisse will go on Coffee Time and he will talk about some of the things that Barrow's accomplishment, and some of it is true. Some of it is highly exaggerated. But at the end of the day, irrespective of whether Barrow has done this or done that, Gambia will be better off under a totally different leadership. I think it's good for our democracy, and I think it's good for the country in general. Now, for that to happen, so the very people that have called for this meeting, for the opposition parties to come together to try to find a way out, they know that entertaining the idea that Barrow can be easily defeated is wishful thinking. And we also have to be serious. Are we really interested in bringing about change? Are we really interested in that? That is to me, that's the fundamental question. And what price are we willing to pay? When I listen to people, all I hear is, Mange Tonyo Juka, Barrow must go. Manelen, yes, okay, Barrow must go. But then the next question is, to be replaced with what? And we've never been able to get that right. We all know Barrow is not the most qualified person. He's not even qualified to be president of this country. He's not. We can do much better. Lolu ñun ñep xam nañ lolu. Comme li gaay di wax fi ken dofu fi. But the reality is, are we really serious? Or we all want to have it in our own way? Musa Jeng wants Barrow to be out so that he can be replaced with Halifa Sallah. Pasamba wants Barrow out so that he can be replaced with Usainu Dabo. This person wants Barrow out because they want it to be replaced with Mama Kande or with SFL. People are only interested in Barrow to be out to be replaced with their own person. To them, that is system change. But that's not it. If we are honest, let's put together a document, something similar to what they've done. Somebody was putting out the manifesto, 2016 manifesto, and you'll be laughing now because they pretty much set it aside. Diaspora voting was, a done deal. But they need to put something on paper. This is the platform that we're going to take to the Gambian people. This is the reason why they should vote this person out. It's not about personalities. It's about replacing him with this. Everybody signed on the dotted line. Bulmanach. Now you want Barrow out, and when everything is said and done, it's going to be business as usual with different faces doing the same thing. No, I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen the freaking movie before, and we've all have. So, lan lañ buga, let's be honest. Let's have a platform that we all agreed upon, and let's find the candidate that we believe can defeat this person. We will all rally behind that person, a person of character, a person that will demonstrate that whatever he said, he will do it to the letter. Most people will tell you, why change then? Gene Pasamba Dugal Musa Jeng. For what? We don't need that. We need real change. For 60 years, we've gone through this. We've gone through this thing for a long time. And I want to wish good luck for these folks that are trying to bring the parties together. Going all the way back to 2001. The same problems, the same difficulty of bringing these parties together those things are still there. They haven't moved, not an inch. And I hope, and some of them are new players. Some of the people that are doing this, bringing them together, and maybe it's good. But I'm telling you, there are a lot of landmines. And wish you all the luck. I hope you can pull it off, because I believe that the best way, I won't even say best, the sorest way of defeating NPP and the government is a coalition. Whether it's going to be a coalition like 2016, I don't know. I haven't been very crazy about it. These guys are going to come, Nyom Sol Baji, April 8th, and we're gonna look into what they are talking about. But Pasamba, something has to give if we are serious about fighting corruption. Something has to give, because we've seen all these National Assembly members. They're from different parties. You cannot convince me, an NPP National Assembly member is any different from a UDP National Assembly member. You cannot convince me of that. I mean, they're all wearing the same clothes. They all dance to the same tune. Please help me out. You believe in change? Are these people demonstrating that change at the National Assembly? So I think when we talk about change and to bring an end to this, we need to learn from what happened in 2016. So then we are stupid. We cannot make the same mistakes. No, we definitely cannot. And if we can find a solution that all of us, all hands on deck, I think that the Gambian people are ready for change. I mean, that Afrobarometer, how to call it again, poll itself tells you, I mean, there are a lot of people that wouldn't mind to vote for change. But you have to give them something that they can trust, something that they can believe. The majority of people that can come together and vote against the status quo. So if you're thinking things are hard in the country and that somehow every party for himself and God for us all, and we go into the polls, don't be surprised. Surprise, surprise. We will back to where we are again with the same complaining. And that would be very unfortunate. Pap Samba.
Well, wax nga yëpp waaye jëng buñ fàtte nam suñ diaspora vote bi de tell people mooy ne again I am so happy the civil society organizations have taken this matter up. Mariang Gambia participates, Saliu Tal, Madi Jobate, and all these other young dynamic people, Flexdan, and to push this thing, because definitely there is no legal impediment to the diaspora voting, and these lawyers have checked every provision of the Constitution, and the more we check, the more we get proof that yes, we should and must vote. So all I'm asking people that let's continue to work. And in fact, there are suggestions of strategies that must be used to fight back. It will be difficult for people not to send money to their families, but the diaspora's power must not be underestimated. And let me just give you a hint. When you hear them talk about tourism, the money that comes in is mostly from people in the diaspora going to the Gambia in December. And so we must make sure that we leverage our power and our influence so that our rights are respected and protected. So we'll continue to work.
And I think it's most likely this internet.
Hello, Moose. No. Your say internet mom is terrible. I don't know, Fangadika. But anyway, we'll continue to work together to make sure that at the end of the day, what we deserve is given to us, and which is the unfettered right to participate in the process. With that, Musa, I think we are at the tail end of this program. Thanking everybody and Akasa. Mos is frozen. All right, guys. So the family Mos has left. Mafides, because this is what happens when you live in places like Atlanta, Georgia, because dole good internet services, and this is the end result of it. Atlanta is third world. Man, I live in the nation's capital, so I can capitalize before Musa Jengyo. Why anyway? So that's the end of it, and we'll be back next Sunday, provided quality is not that day. With that, thank you guys so very much. Jërë leen jëf.